Alright. And we are live once again for another tornado warning within Wobbles. This time it is for, let me see here. Let's get this all set up here. Yep, looks like it is just for Simpson and Allen counties. We have had, let's see here, make sure this is all streaming correctly. Okay, we're good then. We've had another supercell that has put down a lot of damage down in Springfield, and it looks like it's continuing to exhibit rotation near Mitchellville. This is looking very broad at this point now, especially if we back it up several frames to where what it was, and this is a very cyclic supercell. As we get and go back here with Springfield, that's when it's much tighter and it is weakened significantly, but it is still exhibiting some signs of rotation. And that is why they have issued the tornado warning. Again, this is for parts of Simpson and large parts of Allen County. So this isn't quite made it in. Currently, it is staying south of Warren. There is no tornado warning for Warren County at this time. It is just for Simpson and Allen, and we will be continuing to watch it, as I feel like this is probably going to be cycling. And if you move just south, there's actually a tornado emergency in Nashville, more so for Davidson, Tennessee, Summer, Tennessee, and Wilson, Tennessee. Sorry, not for Nashville, but for areas near here. The Weather Service has issued a tornado emergency, actually. That is not the case for us. We are up here with a weaker storm, but still exhibiting signs of rotations. We're going to go ahead and put this on a 2-panel here. We're going to actually keep the left with velocity, and we're going to take this back to correlation coefficient for now. Right now, again, it has not entered Wobbles yet. It looks like it'll be a pretty rural area. The first community of big concern will be Chapel Hill as it gets closer. Scottsville is not in this warning as of right now. If this thing can cycle back up, a new warning may be needed, but not right now. I'm going to check on what's going on with the Louisville chat here. And in fact, I'm actually going to text a good friend here that I think is in Hendersonville, make sure they're safe. Alright, but right now, very, very broad rotation, like we saw a couple hours ago with those storms. So, something that we're definitely going to need to watch. Again, this is still a very very conducive environment for tornadoes, but as of right now, it's pretty weak. Bowling Green is not in it. Scottsville is not in the warning. Plano is not in the... Well, actually, hang on. Let me double check on Plano before. Franklin is not in the warning. Let me double check, though, with Plano, because it's not showing up on the GR2 here. No, Plano is in Warren County. You are all safe. Nothing. There is no tornado warning for Warren County at this time. Just Simpson and Allen. Okay. That's interesting. Looks like we got a little bit of a drop in correlation coefficient values south of Mitchville, but I don't think that's tornado related. So yeah, there's the tornado emergency for Nashville, or for areas there. Yeah, nothing really coming out of the Louisville chat. Again, there's just not really a whole lot. It may be wanting to do something. Crap, come on. Yeah, let's go back to reflectivity. Maybe around here. But that's a bit of a stretch, I think. Let me check on the environment too, because I bet it's probably going to be moving out of a favor into a less favorable environment. Still favorable though. That's kind of the key word here. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely still an environment that would be supportive of tornadoes. So we are going to continue to watch this. And I want to double check. Yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with. I don't think that CC drop had anything to do with anything tornadic. But this is still something that the Weather Service is obviously concerned about, so we're going to continue to monitor it. But right now, it does look pretty weak. I'm going to keep an eye on Twitter here to make sure that no reports are coming out. Let's see. I'm going to see how long this warning goes until 5:15. So there's about 15 minutes left. Honestly, based on this signature, I highly doubt that the Weather Service is going to extend this unless it tightens up, which is possible in this environment. It's certainly possible. But unless something really serious happens, I don't expect them to keep the warning. Or, excuse me, make a new one. Let's see here. And just to take switch things up here, actually, before I switch things off here, or show you guys a different storm here. Just see what's going on down south of us. Chapel Hill and Halfway, those are the two biggest communities that are of concern right now. You guys need to be in shelter, and anyone else that is within this polygon, you guys need to be in shelter. There is still weak signs of rotation, and that is why a tornado warning was issued. So you guys need to be in your tornado safe zones, lowest floor of your home, away from outside walls and windows. Get into a basement, preferably if you have one. If not, that's what we say, the lowest floor of your home and the most interior part of your house. That is where you're going to want to go with shoes, winter coat, helmet, blankets, stuff to cover you up. And as long as this next scan that's going to come in here just a second is clear, or it doesn't show anything else that's crazy, we're going to take a look at stuff that's going on near Nashville. Alright, so it looks like down south this is a very dangerous situation with a very rare tornado emergency for the biggest place, and now it's Gallatin. In fact, we're gonna, as long as this continues to cooperate, I'm gonna take a quick peek here. It doesn't look like it'll give us anything from the terminal site. Yeah, it's not worth it. We'll stick with that one and make sure we're still keeping an eye on this storm here in case it wants to spin something back up. And it might be wanting to do something, but not sure if it'll be able to. Okay. It looks like it'll probably hit Chapel Hill first before Halfway. And I'm not seeing really any new reports on anything crazy coming out of Twitter, which is a good sign. That is what we like to see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see exactly what this thing is wanting to do, because it's acting like it wants to try and wrap back up and put down another tornado, but I just don't really, I think it's going to struggle right now to do so. And let's actually take a look at the Hopkinsville, the KHPX site. Not showing pretty much nothing, which isn't totally surprising with the angle it's having to cut into the storm, whereas Nashville is a little bit different. Generally, it'll give us a better picture of stuff on the south sides. Let's see here. And it looks like they've trimmed things up now to include less of God, excuse me guys, sorry, to include less of Simpson County. So just a small sliver of Simpson County is included in this. It does not include Franklin, but it does include Chapel Hill and Halfway. Let's see here. We got about 10 more minutes left on this warning, and yeah, I bet they're just gonna let this thing expire as well. Yeah, nothing new coming out yet. Yeah, it's honestly looking a lot like what we had a couple hours ago, or I guess really not even that long ago, where it's really starting to just broaden out into more of a damaging wind threat, but still with a little bit of rotation embedded within it. Yeah, this is just not really looking very impressive at all, which is good. That is exactly what we want. That is a very good thing, especially considering what's going on down south. Just to put another eye on this real quick, there's your tornado, and it is unfortunately, we've had several reports coming out of Hendersonville, and it's now starting to come out of Gallatin of serious damage coming out of it, which is very, very unfortunate to hear. But as far as our situation goes, up in Wabbles, we have very, very weak rotation, most likely not amounting to anything. I don't really see anything that's screaming on the ground, screaming that this is on the ground, so that's good. But we're still gonna stay in shelter in Chapel Hill and halfway until this warning is allowed to expire in about 5 minutes. So we're almost there, but we need to be in shelter until this is allowed to expire. Yeah, this is really looking almost, not necessarily in reflectivity structure, but the velocity couplet is looking very, very similar to what we had go through the Bowling Green area earlier today, and then into Edmondson and Barron counties. I'm going to check here on the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. As far as the timing for Scottsville goes, probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes, but Scottsville is not under any warning right now. There is no warning for Scottsville. Just probably going to experience a stronger thunderstorm. Sub-severe, though. And I got some people asking about the second wave. This is the second wave, so pretty much as soon as this stuff gets done, after this warning, unless this can skim part of Wabbles, we're pretty much going to be in the clear. So, like areas near Butler County, you're probably into Logan. As soon as this rain and thunderstorms gets out of the area, you're probably going to get an all clear. And I imagine the Weather Service will probably start canceling the tornado watch for the western counties very somewhat shortly, probably in a little bit. Yeah, nothing new out of Louisville. that velocity is just looking incredibly unimpressive for from a tornadic perspective. Alvaton is completely safe. You are under no warning. There are some thunderstorms coming in to the west, but those really are not showing any sort of severe activity or tornadic activity. So Alvaton is safe. There we go. Okay, to get my keyboard shortcuts ironed out there. Bowling Green and Warren County are completely safe. No warnings. And the Weather Service has actually just extended the tornado warning, or issued a new tornado warning. This does include the city of Scottsville and still continues halfway in Chapel Hill. It looks like this little sliver right here, it may be wanting to tighten back up a little bit. Maybe. But nevertheless, this does now include the city of Scottsville, as we are watching some very broad, but still nevertheless rotation as it moves into that area. I'm going to see what the yeah, that's not much. Let's see here. I'd say as far as Scottsville is concerned, probably 15 to 20 minutes before the area of rotation gets into Scottsville. Glasgow is currently not in this warning. No part of Barron County is in this warning yet. All right. Yeah, it's looking like it's wanting to wrap back around in near Chapel Hill. So if you're in Chapel Hill, you need to be in shelter, absolutely. I'm going to check. So unfortunately, it looks like correlation coefficient is going to be pretty much useless because a lot of the debris from the tornado down south of us is starting to get lofted up into the atmosphere and absorbed into the jet stream and pushed northward. So correlation coefficient is probably going to be kind of useless to us at this moment to really see if there's debris. But NROT is still pretty low. It's less than 1, which is good. That's what we want to see. That's a pretty weak number, but it's still showing some pretty weak rotation. So still nothing that's overly concerning. Well, I mean, we still got that weak rotation coming in at Chapel Hill. It's there, but it's pretty weak. And again, I'm going to switch over to the Hopkinsville site. I don't think it is going to give us a pretty good view on this. Yeah, it's really not even picking up the broad level rotation. So I'm going to switch back to Nashville. But overall, that's still very, very, very broad rotation. It's rotating. The storm is definitely spinning, but it's not very well defined at this stage. And I'd say it'll probably be in Scottsville within the next 10 minutes, maybe 15. And thankfully, it looks like the very strong tornado to our south, it should stay entirely out of the Wobbles area, at least the tornadic part of it. So that is good. It should get kind of close, but it should stay out of the area. So really, our biggest concern is still going to be the area of Chapel Hill, and then going into Scottsville here very soon. Yeah, this thing is acting very weird. It's acting like it's really wanting to get a bit more well defined, but it's struggling. It is definitely struggling. We can try our CC here again, but yeah, it's looking like it's pretty useless at this point. Maybe there's a minor drop near Chapel Hill, but that is not nearly enough to be considered a potential debris ball. And I don't think we're really getting anything out of Twitter as far as reports, which is good. Let's see here. Yeah, not really seeing anything new in terms of reports. Which is good. That means this thing is most likely not on the ground. Actually, as this thing gets close to Scottsville, our Gold City Skycam should let's get a good view of this. But actually, it looks like our Gold City, which is near Scottsville, is down at the moment. Yeah, it's up. But it is entirely black. And there's really not enough lightning with this storm to light it up enough to see the structure of it, unfortunately. When you get to nighttime situations like this, once after the sun goes down, radar gets a good idea of what potentially could be going on in the storm, but you have nothing to really confirm it unless you can really see well in the dark, or typically you have the lightning flashes, which in this case the storm is really not putting out a lot of lightning. So it's going to be very hard to visually confirm it. Latest velocity scan. It looks like it's still rotating quite a bit, but it's probably going to start to transition, just like a lot of the storms that we've had earlier today transitioned into a bit more of a damaged straight line, or just generic damaging wind gusts instead of a tornadic threat as this thing weakens. It's still rotating, so we still have the potential for a tornado, but I think this is going to transition into a bit more of a damaging wind, straight line damaging wind threat as this thing continues to weaken. But nevertheless, we need to make sure if you're in Scottsville or even halfway, especially still with Chapel Hill, that you guys are in shelter. This warning is going to be going on until 5:45, so we got about 20 minutes left on this warning, unless the Weather Service decides to cancel it, which at this point I do not see them doing. The rotation is very, very weak, but it's still rotating, so it still has the potential to put down a tornado. Okay, looks like the Weather Service has trimmed down the warning to pretty much exclude most of halfway. Halfway is halfway in the warning. Chapel Hill, it's slowly moving, but you're still, looks like, under the gun right now, so you still need to be in shelter. Scottsville, it'll probably be there in the next 5 to 10 minutes, so you need to be in shelter, but those are the biggest communities of concern at the moment. Again, we've got about 20 minutes left on this warning before it is going to be allowed to expire, and I don't really see the Weather Service just canceling it, because even though the rotation is weak, it's still there. And I think it's still going to be pretty weak, but let's just check our normalized rotation, and yeah, it's still pretty weak in terms of, especially really compared to what we were seeing earlier. We're sitting really pretty well less than 1, so that's a pretty weak signature. And this thing is really starting to lose its structure on reflectivity as well, as the line just out to the west of it kind of absorbs in with it. This thing's starting to become a lot messier in terms of reflectivity. The velocity really hasn't changed, but the reflectivity has become a lot messier. It looks like The strongest area of rotation is probably going to pass just to the north of Scottsville, but it's going to be close enough to where you're going to, if you're in Scottsville, you're going to want to be in the basement, or at least in your tornado safe shelter. And yeah, I'm still really not getting any new reports. Or any reports, not even new, but any reports at all with this storm. And it looks like the rotation is probably, it looks like it's falling apart. It's still there, barely hanging on, but it's getting a lot weaker. Got about 15 minutes left with this storm, with this warning. Which honestly, now at this point, I'm wondering if the Weather Service will let it expire. It's getting pretty weak, or cancel it. Actually, looks like our Gold City Skycam is getting back up there, so it's actually visible. So let's switch over to Gold City West. That is not the updated one. There we go. Let's take that down. But nothing on it that's really standing out. And it looks like the Weather Service actually allowed the tornado warning for Allen County to expire. Either it expired or they canceled it. I thought it went till 5:45. They have canceled it. The storm that prompted the warning has weakened significantly. So that is very good. And I'll go back to this right here. So, come on. That is the most updated frame. There are currently no warnings in WABBLES at this moment. We still got some activity south of us, but this should stay fully south of WABBLES. Allen County, you're pretty much in the all clear. Butler County, you're pretty much in the all clear. Allen County, you're almost in the all clear as soon as this stuff really gets out of here. Bowling Green, you're almost in the all clear. So I would imagine here pretty soon the Weather Service will be starting to chop off some of these counties of the tornado watch. But again, definite all clear for Butler County and Logan County. Here soon for Allen, Warren County, and Edmondson. And then in a little bit we can then get the all clear to Barron and Simpson. So, excuse me, got Allen and Simpson mixed up. I apologize. So, everything is good here. We're going to go ahead and cut the stream there. I don't think we'll have to come back. We will, if we do, we'll be back here very shortly, but I don't think we're going to really have any more issues across Wobbles. So with that being said, guys, have a great night. We're still going to continue to monitor this, but we'll be giving that all clear through all of Wobbles probably here in the next hour or two. So have a great day, guys, and keep an eye on us on